Hey everyone, Fatty from Pack a Punch Traders here. Just want to make a weekend video lesson going over my week pretty much. I did go over really quick that yesterday going over my trades and that it was a red day, but ended up being a red week. First one in a while actually, probably in at least a month. But not too bad, not a gigantic red day. Just you could see the inconsistency this week. Not that great, 3 for 7. My main issues were Fomo and taking bigger size and risking a little more. So that definitely contributed to a shaky week. Could have probably come out profitable if I was just didn't have Fomo a couple of these days that I took big losses. So yeah, let's just dive into it. So essentially, what I'm gonna go over is how Fomo kind of wrecked me. It it was really tough this week. Like there was some morning plays, but a lot of the plays this week really trapped shorts early and then set up late day, midday for a solid move. So I was still thinking, the past few weeks I've been trading a lot just in the morning, being done trading by like 7:15 and making good money, getting quick moves early on. But this week we got less of those and some fake outs early on that led to solid moves. So we'll just dive into it. SONM, I didn't let it develop enough. Just being emotional about this, just convinced that it's gonna take off. Doesn't have to. The volume wasn't there early on, and it just couldn't hold up. And I failed to recognize because I had fear of missing out, and all I saw was a breakout play, and that it was holding up, not putting my other indicators in there like volume and flow and where it's been, overhead resistance, and how strong the support is, and where it's come, how much volume it's got here. I really just focused on the breakout level and that it was holding up. I kept it way too simple this time, and part of that was just me being emotional, telling myself this is for sure gonna take off. It just needs to hold up a bit more and consolidate for it to take off. But the volume just wasn't there. Like, sure, there was solid volume in the morning, but not enough buying. It was just weak buying and a lot more selling. You can see the inconsistency with the volume. Just did not have enough to hold it up and make it go off. And Grom as well yesterday, quite emotional on it. Similar thing. Just not focusing on the bigger picture, just really putting two indicators like together, and that was it, saying this is holding open price breakout level and it's failing. We got this like double triple bottom here, and I think this was a low float. Yeah, and it being a low float breakout, I thought this thing could take off, not really letting it develop and show me that it could take off because there's just weak volume here. So everything in the morning here is just going to be resistance. In the morning, like, of course it would typically be that, but if there's strong volume throughout the day, or strong volume starts coming back, that's most likely going to lead to a short squeeze because you're going to have enough energy to take it higher here, back to the highs, and then if it fails to break down, which it likely will if there's a lot of volume and buying, shorts are going to end up covering their position and it just rips. Um, One good example from yesterday, which I missed, which led to my Grom horrible trade. Rdbx went over this in Tradecaster on a live stream. Amazing plan. Just I just didn't trade it. Was eyeing Grom and didn't trade this. So yeah, here we get the volume, you get the float, you get the trend, you get the breakout, failure to break down, pretty clear resistance after the breakout level, pretty clear skies. So this one had a lot more going for it. compared to, oh, it's just holding the breakout level and that's it. Not even really holding trend with Grom, as we can see here, just making lower highs throughout the day. Like, sure, it did keep holding. Like, this, if volume really did come in, this could have been really nice, but it didn't. And I should have just reacted better. That's really all it is. In the morning, you got a solid little move, but it was very choppy. Failed to keep going. Had some resistance in the 170s area. So, yeah, just not aligning my ducks in a row. And just fear of missing out led to that. Just simplifying it too much just to get a solid move, profit. Not even move. Like, I'm not really thinking of the move. I'm thinking of the money. So, just poor trading this week. All from emotions, which led to sizing up and risking a little more. So, not that great. But here we go. We have a solid breakout here around 230, 225-ish. Right here. Some resistance up in the 270s. So, that was perfect because at that point here, we got resistance in the 260s. And it was supporting itself right at the VWAP and breakout level. So, when it starts uptrending here, and it might be hard to see, like, it's not a whole ton, but you start getting a perk in volume here compared to when it was holding here. So when it's holding trend and volume's coming back, and you start seeing some more volume taking it higher, when it fails to break down and volume keeps coming in, shorts are going to get squeezed. Similar thinking to what I was trying to force on Grom here, where you have that spike, like that's gonna act as resistance, but if volume keeps coming in, shorts fail to take it down, and it starts uptrending, those shorts are gonna have to cover. If they're smart, they're gonna cover their position. You might size in some more. It might be a double top, hold up again, make a higher low, and then come back if it's not ready at that moment. But in this case, volume kept coming in, started growing, and we get a from the breakout here, all over an hour or so, you're making nearly 50%. Um, so very solid play here. Just the basics: holding trend, volume, float on a Friday, breakout level. You got a range to go off of. That's one thing here in the morning with Sonm. I didn't let happen. I didn't really let a range develop. I usually like to trade after 15 minutes or so. I like to see shorts and buyers battle it out. I want to see the high. I want to see their a low, set a low, and then see what it does from there. What's the trend? Which direction does it uh um pick, and how much volume is behind it? It might break out, but from the morning highs, but it doesn't have enough energy behind it. There's not enough volume. There's not nothing really pushing it higher. So you get a little quick fake out, excuse me, and then after that, it's just that's the high day. It just fades the whole day. So just you got to react properly. You got to put all this information into your head, so when the time does come, it's more automatic and just pattern recognition than really overthinking it in the moment. So I didn't let a range set up here, and I just didn't let it develop. Didn't get enough time to tell me which direction it's going to choose. So here's one example where you get this little fake out. Volume just can't continue, can't hold up. Selling starts coming in, and that's it. It just starts fading the whole day. So emotions. Compared to Grom, if you were to trade it in the morning, there was a profit angle, definitely. Here you got a range to kind of go off of. You got a 148 high, and then it sets in the morning here, at least, it sets at 134. You get a little fake out. When it fails to break down, it comes back to that 134-ish area, starts consolidating nicely, and then from there the volume comes in, and this is the confirmation. This is it choosing which direction is going to go in, and then it fails to break down again, making that support. It's holding trend. Sure, a little choppy, but nonetheless, there was a solid 10% angle, whether you were buying it on the VWAP reclaim, open price reclaim, holding around the breakout level. You got 3 levels right there. Pretty key with high day right above. Solid 20 cents from there. You could have made 15 cents from 148, 149. Either way you put it, you're making 10%. You're making your quick money. And then this choppiness and failure to really keep going, that should have been kind of concerning if I were to be trading it in the morning, because it's got a low float doing good volume. Shorts should be getting squeezed. If there's still this much indecision at this point after you get this confirmation, that's not a good sign, because that means shorts aren't as fearful as you would think, and they're going to just cover and you're going to get this massive short squeeze. No, buyers are facing resistance each step higher, and part of that, yes, we got that resistance level in this range here in the 170 area. But yeah, so rough week, just letting emotions cloud my judgment of plays and reactions, missing great calls, like all the ones that I'm going over that worked out. I was looking at them, I called them, I just didn't trade them. My mind was somewhere else trying to force another play and not reacting to what's in front of me. You got to let plays come to you and not try to just sit and wait on a low volume play if that's the case, what you're doing or whatnot. You got to focus on the best play, and typically that's what we go over. Just lining your ducks up in a row, holding trend, key levels, volumes. The volume keeps coming in, solid buying. It fails to break down, so you could trigger a short squeeze. It's above VWAP, ideally an open price. Clear resistance. You don't want resistance to be too close, and it could get stuffed. Similar to Grom, could have potentially waited for the 160s, 170s to break if this made you uncomfortable buying this breakout around 139. Sure, there was an angle. We could have just waited for this to fail to break down, and that sets up another short squeeze. So, yeah, that is kind of what I wanted to go over, just how emotions get in the way. Here's another one we can talk about. You got this range from the low 4s and the high 3s here. Fails to break down, and that area becomes support. It chooses which direction it wants to go in. It's still holding key levels, and volume comes back, and you get a solid move from the low 4s to the high 4s. Solid 20% opportunity or so. So in the morning, be patient. Let the plays develop. If they take off, if they just open and take off, that happens. When did that happen? What was it? Pick. That's what it was. In the morning here on this day, it gapped up massively and just took off right away. And then shorts failed to take it down the whole day. So yeah, as you can see here, something you might not want to be chasing in the high 3s here. Could have maybe got out a quick 10% possibly, but you would have had to been good. So yeah, and it fails to break down, but then you get this range kind of set right here in the 430s, and then you got it setting the support in the low 3s, which if you can look at pre-market as well, right around that area, there's some decent support area, I guess. Fails to crack the 3 area, and it just starts grinding back, and from there you could have got it early on when it's reclaiming open price, or if you wanted to just trade the range, just wait for it to get back to the high. It fails to crack that, you get a massive short squeeze because all the shorts, it's confirmed that their expectations have been broken, and this isn't just a fake out to retest the high and then it fades. No, it fails to break down, and now they just get out. So yeah, I think decent video lesson going over how my week went and how emotions got in the way. I didn't go over everything I traded, but just some of the things from yesterday that were on mind. See if there's any lesson here. Very choppy, but you could kind of see the general pattern with it setting a range and it fails to break down and it chooses the direction it wants. It could, offer a solid squeeze. In this case, it wasn't the best. 237. Still could have made 10%, but it didn't really take off. Good entry probably would have been somewhere in this area when it's holding open price in the breakout, and now it's holding VWAP and failing to break down. Maybe some 220s, low 230s could have been good, but waiting for that confirmation, still not bad. But if you're already in it, this is very encouraging for a solid move higher. So yeah, I don't want to make this is already pretty long, so I hope this was useful. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and yeah, I'll probably make another video lesson later, maybe on something else, a different topic, but this was my weekly review.